Hey guys, Paul from Ashen Phoenix. It's new comic book day for the week of September 20th, and we're getting started right now. This episode brought to you by Paul and Tim Do a Thing. We do a thing. 4 videos like every week. You should check it out on the other channel. The links are in the description down below.
Hey guys, it's Tim from Paul and Tim Do a Thing, the comic book store, Capes and Scowls, and Team Ashen is the one I forgot, I think. Anyways, I'm from places. Let's talk about trades. First up, we got Star Wars Bounty Hunters. This is on Volume 6, which is great to see. And I like that back cover there. I like a lot of these bounty hunter characters getting some love. We have Ice Cream Man, Volume 9. This is such a weird book, and it just gets weirder and weirder, so you should definitely read it. We got Blue Book number 1. This is Tinian. This looked really cool. This is from Dark Horse. Really cool alien story. We've got Know Your Station, which I don't know what it's about, but it looks fun as I was flipping through it, so Know Your Station. We got Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. You did this one, right?
No.
Matt, was it you?
Nah.
No one did this one.
But the people can.
The people can?
With the book.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures. The Nameless Terror. So just that mini-series included in that one. We got, Declan Shelby. I love him. Old Dog. Red Act 1, Volume 1. So, Declan Shelby's really good. If you've never read his stuff, I know he was probably more known for his art initially. He's been doing a lot of good writing as of late. Marvelverse, Monica Rambeau, Photon. This seems like a cool collection of, these books are usually pretty cool. It's just like, tell me a little bit about everything about this character. Those Marvelverse ones are pretty good for that. Batman, Scooby-Doo Mysteries. This is Volume 3. Get you up to current with your Scooby-Doo mysteries. We have Slaughterhouse 5. Everybody tells me this is great. Everybody. So it's probably great. TMNT, The Armageddon Game, The Alliance, The Trade. Whoa. Tying in with the game. All this Turtle stuff has just been fantastic. So what a great time to be a Turtle fan. We got Batman, The Audio Adventures. Don't touch that dial, kids. Same bat time. We got Batman, One Dark Night. I don't remember which one this is.
I checked the beginning of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was.
He sure was.
He wanted to save somebody, and that they ended up causing basically like an EMP and putting everything into darkness.
I vaguely remember that. All right, so literal darkness. That's great.
That's good.
Yeah. And then Two-Fisted Tales from the EC archive. Some war stories in that EC tradition, so gruesome. But man, I love EC stuff. How cool.
First up, we have Rare Flavors, issue number 1. Interesting story. This is one of those ones where I don't really want to like trash it, but like my issue with number 1s is you have to be able to understand what is going on in the book without having to read the preview guide. And unfortunately, this is one of those ones where you kind of have to know about the book prior to picking it up, and that kind of takes a ding for it. But this is basically an evil being who is having nefarious ideas about creating a food documentary and hiring this person to do that. It's, like I said, it's an interesting idea, but the problem is it leaves so much out that you really kind of need going into this book that they don't really talk about. However, if you have read the preview guide, you understand the concept behind this book, it's probably going to be a very, very good starting off point with a very interesting premise about where this is going to go as far as like the evil twists and turns throughout this place. So it's up to you. If you check out the preview guide, definitely check this out.
All right, first up for me, I got Wonder Woman number 1, or Wonder Woman number 801 with a legacy renumbering, because we love legacy renumberings. The new era begins. This is Tom King, and it feels like a Tom King book. There is so much political intrigue and other things going on in this. Essentially, what we have, it's very wordy. I like it, but I was like, oh man. Trying to read this, to do this review. Trying to get it done, Paul, you know? I was like, holy hell, Tom King. But it is very good. Basically, a start of our story, there's an Amazon who is in a bar. Some men start being kind of sexist pigs to her, and she beats the ever-loving hell out of them to the point that they die. Now we have a political issue. So now the U.S. government is coming down on Amazons that live in the United States. Things get a little weird. Things get a little raw. We do have a very cool character that you probably haven't thought of in a while who is going to go up against Wonder Woman in this issue. That's what we're building towards. And this was really smart, really well handled. If you aren't in the mood for something political, maybe avoid it, but otherwise, it's a pretty fun story, pretty cool story. There is some violence. There is the art is great. The art was really cool. So, yeah, if you were ever like, maybe I'll do a Wonder Woman, dive in here. This seems like this is going to be a pretty good one.
Hey guys, Matt from the Comic Book Store and Capes and Scowls, and I'm back to tell you about a couple more comic books I read. First up this week, I read Captain America #1 from Marvel Comics. This was a different retelling of the Captain America story. You get a little bit of Steve Rogers as a kid, and then you kind of get to see where he's at now. Now being what looks like the mid-1940s. They don't really give too good of a timetable on it. But it seems very apparent that everybody knows he's Captain America and everybody's cool with him being Captain America, and it's kind of just a commonplace thing. You get to see more of Steve Rogers doing more do-goody things in Captain America, so I'm hoping next issue we get more of Captain America doing do-goody things. But we'll have to wait and see. Nonetheless, it does set up an interesting story, an interesting Steve Rogers, Captain America dynamic that we'll have to pick up in issue 2. Captain America #1. Check it out.
Next up, we have Noctera, issue number 16. It is the end of this arc. Wow, this book goes crazy. It could almost be the ending of like the series, but it's not the end of the series. And a lot happens. This is one of those books where you cannot just like pop in and grab this book and understand anything about what is going on, other than the basic premise of a science experiment, because in that case, this is very much a one-off book where you don't necessarily need everything. However, to understand the entire plot, you definitely have to have been paying attention. But man, this is an amazing ending to this arc, and where it goes from here is going to be very, very different and weird. But definitely here for the ride.
All right, it's time for my pick of the week. Paul, do you know what my pick of the week is?
Not a clue, actually.
No.
No.
Would you like to know?
I mean, I'm going to find out.
Right now.
Yeah.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Matt, do you know what my pick of the week is?
Nah.
Matt doesn't know anything. He's over there. Woo.
Still trying to figure out about Titan, bro.
Bro, what do you know about Titan? Predator versus Wolverine.
I mean, I could have probably guessed that, but okay.
Yeah. In a good Wolverine story where he's kind of facing something big, he should look like crap the entire book. He looks like crap the entire book. It starts with him very destroyed. And you come to find out that through the Weapon X program, and since Wolverine's been around a very long time, he's actually encountered the Predator multiple times. But due to all the messed up stuff that Weapon X program and whatnot has done to his mind, he doesn't always remember. So there's something kind of ingrained in him that he's like, oh, this is a thing I've seen in the past. This is something very dangerous. So it is him kind of in frontier times is most of the story, him talking about the first encounter he had with the Predator. And then we are building towards the Predator returning and continuing this fight. So really cool story. By Benjamin Percy. It's got Ken Lashley art. We always love that. Violence really ramped up. Really, really strong imagery here. If you're not in for some violence, maybe avoid it. But, I mean, if you picked up Predator versus Wolverine, you should probably expect lots of hands and blood and things flying all over the place. So, I think the book was great. I thought it was exactly what it was advertised to be. And if you enjoy remotely either of these things, keep reading.
And my pick of the week this week was something a little off the walls. Uncanny Spiderman #1. It takes the best of the X-Men, or the good ones at least, and the best of Spider-Man, and it mashes them together into this cool purple-looking guy. You get Kurt Wagner, who is the current Nightcrawler, pretty much taking on the role of Spider-Man. in an effort to hide from the fallout of what happened in the Hellfire Gala and kind of what is happening across the X-Men universe with this new Fall of X thing that they're doing. It's an interesting one. I don't want to give away too much, but there is a big character that shows up at the end, and you kind of find out that it's going to lead to a much bigger story than just Nightcrawler doing some web slinging. Uncanny Spiderman #1. Check it out.
And my pick of the week, it is Catwoman issue number 57. This Gotham Wars is actually really ramping up into something that's going to actually affect Batman. A lot is happening here. Batman is just coming undone with what is happening in his life. The effects of the night terrors is really, really, really taking a toll on him, and he has lost absolutely everything. And when you have someone coming from that level of desperation, they are going to irrationally cling to anything that they can, and this is him trying to basically hold his family together because he has lost everything else. And that leads him to do very, very, very bad things, where he is kind of becoming the villain of the story. But meanwhile, there is another very much larger arcing villain that's kind of taking advantage of all the turmoil, and we're going to see that really kind of rise to prominence in the remainder of the series. I can't wait for more. This is an amazing book. You should definitely check it out.
All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for once again joining us. Make sure you head over to Capes and Scowls and you check out the new Tapes and Scowls where we talk about movies. There's some real stinkers on there this time, including an older comic book movie. You know you love those. Older being 1990, but it's abysmal. Definitely check that out. And, of course, I'm over on Paul and Tim Do a Thing where me and Paul do things. Right, Paul?
We do.
It's so much fun over there. Anyways, that's it. We'll see you next week. Let us know in the comments down below what you enjoyed. If you agreed with any of our picks once you've read them, let me know. I love knowing.